2 months out from the primary election in Minnesota, and surprises are in store for voters after the state conventions. The DFL picks were expected. Amy Klobuchar getting the endorsement for governor and current Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan for the Senate, while the GOP did throw some curveballs with Kendall Qualls getting endorsed over House Speaker Lisa Demuth and Adam Schwarzy picked for the Senate race. With the race for the nomination just beginning, it is appearing there will be some very heated primaries. Here's Chief Political Reporter Danny Spiewak. Danny?
Marina, just looking at the Republicans today, traditionally Republican candidates who've earned the Minnesota GOP endorsement have gone on to be the party's nominee in November. But that may shift this year with competitive primaries on the table for both the GOP race for U.S. Senate and the governor's race.
Over the years, Minnesota Republicans have typically selected their nominees for statewide races by a vote of party delegates at the state convention. This is how Scott Jensen became the nominee for governor in 2022 and how Royce White became the nominee for Senate in 2024.
That just doesn't make sense. That feels very party insidery.
Former GOP Senate Majority Leader Amy Frederickson says this process is why Republicans haven't won a statewide election since Governor Tim Pawlenty in 2006.
If you're not winning, then all your high-minded ideals are to nothing. You might as well be just screaming into the wind.
In 2026, though, it appears Minnesota Republicans may be headed for two competitive primaries this August. In the U.S. Senate race, former Navy SEAL Adam Schwarzy won the party's endorsement this weekend.
This is when we cross the Delaware and take back our state.
But former broadcaster Michelle Tafoya has vowed to move forward to a primary with her strong financial backing and name recognition. In the governor's race, businessman Kendall Qualls won the endorsement after 10 ballots.
Once the convention's over, we need to put aside differences and rally around the candidate.
You guys know me as Michael or Mike?
But MyPillow founder Mike Lindell has already said he's running in a primary. And the runner-up for the governor endorsement, House Speaker Lisa Demuth, hasn't ruled out a primary run either after challenging the balloting process.
I think if there's a moment in time, this should be it.
Frederickson says the conventions are still important, but that the voters should ultimately decide the nominee.
Almost every other state just has a strong primary system.
Meanwhile, for the Minnesota DFL, the endorsed candidate at the convention has not always gone on to be the nominee. It's a contrast from what the Republicans have typically done. And this year, there's a very competitive Democratic primary for U.S. Senate between Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan and Congresswoman Angie Craig. We're going to take a much closer look at that race coming up tomorrow.